In this math video, we're going to be learning about how we can find the fraction of a quantity. Okay, so to begin with, I am going to show you a really easy way to do this, and then I'm going to explain the thinking behind it, what's actually happening. Okay, so the questions, first of all, to find a fraction of a quantity are going to look like this. So it might say find 1/2 of 20, or it might say find 1/10 of 27. Okay, so a quick little example here, and the reason why I've made these digits all in this orangey red color is because I couldn't figure out how to get my these two numbers together into a fraction that is vertical like this. So just to make it easier and so you can see it more clearly, the colored digit is the denominator. Okay, so this actually says 3/8 of 24. So the first thing that you need to think is, this is the easy way to solve these questions. You need to say, okay, well, the denominator, how many times does the denominator fit into this quantity that I'm looking here at? Well, the denominator, 8, fits into 24 3 times. So with that answer, I'm going to multiply it by the numerator. So 3 times 3, my answer is 9. Okay, so just to really show you what I did, I went like this. 24, and then how many 8s? Then 3 times 3. All right, so now I'll show you again with this one. So I need to ask, how many times does my denominator fit into my numerator? So 6 fits into 54. Oh, I said numerator, I didn't mean that, into my quantity. So how many times does 6 fit into 54? It fits into 54 9 times. So then I say 9 times 2, 18. I'll show you again. So how many times does my denominator fit into my quantity number? So 3 fits into 36 12 times. That 12 times my numerator equals 24. So I've written these 3 other questions here for you to try. So pause the video at this point. Rewatch the first 3 questions if you're unsure still, and then have a go at these 3 questions in your book, and then come back for the answers. Okay, so now I'm going to solve these ones for you. So how many of my denominator here fits into my quantity? So 6, 12, so 2 times, and so I multiply that answer by my numerator. So 12 times 2 times 1 is 2. So now I need to say, okay, well, how many times does my denominator in this question fit into my quantity? So 7 fits into 35 5 times. So now I need to multiply 5 by 2, which is 10. And so now I've got, how many times does my 9 fit into my quantity of 27? Fits in 3 times, and now I go 3 times 3, and that answer is 9. All right. So now I'm going to explain a little bit of the thinking behind it. So basically, one thing that you need to know with this is, when in mathematics, if you see of like this, it actually means multiply. So what we're actually doing is we're multiplying the fraction and turning the quantity into a fraction itself as well. So it will end up looking a little bit like this. So we've got the 3/5 here in this example up here, which is, what is 3/5 of 20? So we'll go, well, 3/5, and then I need to turn that 20 into a fraction, which is what we're really doing when we're figuring it out the other way that we've just learned. And we always have, well, and then once we've done that, the quantity is always the denominator. So we say, well, what has happened here to that 5 to make it a 20. So what has happened is we have multiplied that 5 by 4 to equal 20. And we have to do exactly to the top of the fraction as we have done to the bottom. So, well, 3 times 4 then is 12. Okay, so that's another way of figuring it out. That is basically what you're doing in your mind. All right, and it can be really helpful when we don't have a quantity that actually has common factors. So in all of these, you've got the denominator does fit perfectly into the quantity. Sometimes that doesn't happen and you will need to figure it out like this way here, given. So if your fraction does not match your quantity perfectly, then this is what you would do. So let's say we had a question like this. So find 7/8 of 49. So if that was flipped upside down, well, 7 fits into 49, but 8 doesn't actually fit into 49. So again, we need to kind of, we need to figure out and turn this of sign into a multiplication sign. Then we need to say, all right, there's no common factors in these. And what we need to do is we need to turn the fraction upside down over here. So we've got 7 over 8, and then, or 7/8, multiplied by 49 over 1. So you can see that the 49, the quantity, is actually now the numerator, not the denominator anymore. And then what you end up doing is you multiply across and across this way, so horizontally. So I would go, well, 8 times 1 is 8, like I've done here. And then I would go 7 times 49, and figured it out already, it's 343. And so then I end up with this fraction right here, okay? So this fraction, this fraction that I've got here is a very improper fraction. Important to note as well, this line here that divides the fraction is also like known as a division. So if you wanted to find out what this answer would be as a decimal, the numerator always goes on the inside of our division symbol here, okay? And the denominator always is the one that we're dividing it by. Yeah, so we're saying how many of these fit into that. So then I figured that out over here. So how many 8s fit into 343? My answer is 42 88/100. Okay, so that's how I would finish my question. So 7/8 of 49, well, we would know that it's 42 and 88/100. And you know that that's reasonably close as well, because if we're asking for 8/8 of something, that would mean it was the whole of it. So 8/8 of 49 is 49, because it's the same, 8 over 8 is the same as saying 1 whole. So 7/8 has got to be reasonably close to 49.